Okay, folks, so we covered the wheelchair socialist in the last video, and I think that's the only class Robbie and I had together, but we used to really enjoy coming back to our apartment in the evenings or in the afternoon whenever our classes ended. We would order pizza from Papa John's once a week, maybe twice a week, and I remember Robbie would go downstairs to his car, which had what we called at that time a cellular phone. I think we used the full word back then, a cellular phone. And it was in this huge compartment in the console of the car, and it was big. And I mean, you had to go to the car to use it. It was just, it's funny now with phones the way they are. This phone was big. I mean, it was like the size of my fist, like two of my fists. And the buttons were as big as the end of your finger, and can you hear me now? You know, you had to yell in there, but I'm exaggerating, but only barely. So we would order pizza, we would rent movies, and I remember I would rent these corny B-grade horror movies, and I would want Robbie to watch them with me, and he was too nice at the time and now probably if I were visiting him. He would be too nice to say, no, I don't want to watch that, you know, I'd rather not, you go ahead. But he would watch these with me, he would put up with them. But we watched movies that were called things like snakes or tarantulas, frogs, these eco horror films. And we would watch other things. I mean, you name it, we probably watched it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a movie called Duel featuring Dennis Weaver from 1971, I believe. It was Steven Spielberg's directorial debut. But we would watch these movies, and he would want to take a nap. Robbie would get sleepy and would want a nap, so he would lie on this 70s era couch that we had from my parents. And Robbie, I would see the glasses come off the ears, and I would say, Robbie, don't. I would whine and just being silly, but I really did want him to watch the movie with me. But I would say, Robbie, please, please, please. Robbie, with eyes closed and with a sneaky smile on his face, he would go, 5 minutes. With his eyes closed, smiling, lying down on the couch, he would just say that. And I would be like, oh gosh, Robbie, come on, don't. But usually it was to no avail. He was going to sleep, and he was determined to take a nap because he was sleepy. Go figure. But anyway, we had a lot of good times, and the cigars, that was part of it. A lot of Bill Clinton references here. Cigars, not inhaling. What else? Oh, the thing that he reminded me of in his email. Okay, Robbie, here we go. Here's my version of the story. I was getting ready to graduate college with my bachelor's degree. And so Robbie and I were going to go out and celebrate. So we go to a fancy restaurant in Huntington. I think it was called Rogers. It was some kind of a fancy place, but we had a steak dinner, and you had to kind of dress up a little bit to go here. I don't know if it exists now. We're talking, what, 11 years ago? So anyway, we decide we're going to have a drink. A drink, an actual alcoholic beverage, an adult beverage, as Rush would call it. So we decided we were going to do that. Here we are about to turn 22 years old. Legal drinking age is 21, used to be 18 years ago. 21 at this time. We're almost 22. I was a couple of months from being 22. We're months beyond drinking age. I don't know, should we? And the other one said, I don't know, should we? So we finally decided, well, let's just have one drink after the meal. That should make it okay. So I ordered, and Robbie, I can't remember what you ordered, but at the restaurant I ordered a margarita. Blushing the whole time, feeling embarrassed, feeling nervous, looking around to see if anyone I know is around us. And you bought a drink, and we each had one drink after the meal, and felt like such hellions, such hellraisers for doing that. So we left the restaurant, feeling fun, feeling excited, having a good time. We decide we're not done yet. So we drive to this old person bar in Huntington called Yesterday's. I don't think it's even there now. I was in Huntington just a few weeks ago and drove by where that used to be located, and it's not there now. And as a side note, Robbie, do you remember 29th Street Bar and Grill? It had the reputation for being a young, hip place to hang out as a bar. It's called something else now. In fact, I think it's a Giovanni's. It's not even a bar now. Sad. Doing a sad face. But anyway, yesterday's used to be near the football stadium. And we went to yesterday's, which had a reputation as more of an old folks bar, sort of a VFW type of bar. So we went in there, and it's dead. You know, this was a Wednesday or Thursday evening, and no one was there. A lot of kids had already gone home for the semester. So I ordered. It's so embarrassing. But I'm more in touch with my feminine side now, so this doesn't bother me as much. But I ordered a strawberry daiquiri. And Robbie, what did you get, Robbie? I can't remember. It was like Sex on the Beach or a Tequila Sunrise or something. It was another, more of a feminine drink. Now we would just get a beer. Now I would get an Ice House or a Bud Light or something manly. But at the time, I didn't know drinks. I didn't know this from that. You know, I didn't know what was what from anything else. But I had just heard of a strawberry daiquiri. I had heard that term. So I ordered a strawberry daiquiri. I drank it with my pinky out like that. I'm exaggerating. I'm just kidding on that part. But I'm sure people wondered. You know, it's like, look at these two guys sitting over there. It's like strawberry daiquiri and whatever Robbie had. A martini, maybe. I don't know what it was. But we're sitting there because we're so naive. And I remember, Robbie, do you remember we wondered, should we drive home? Should we drive home? I don't know. And this is a few months before I would later just drive around after having had 5 or 6 beers, and I would drive not really caring. I mean, I was in a very rebellious period a few months later. But at this time, we're like, full stomach of food, 2 drinks. I don't know. Should we drive home? I don't know. It was just crazy. It's funny now. But we ended up driving home because there was no other option. The only other option was to call my aunt, who I lived with at the time, to pick me up. And then the cat's out of the bag if I do that. So I would rather drive home on alcohol than call my aunt to come and get me and let her find out that I've been drinking. And what's she going to do? Call my dad, you know? This was the line of reasoning that Robbie and I had. Sue, you know, is going to call my dad, and then he knows that I've drank. So anyway, that's my version of the story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, we had some good times. I'm trying to think of any other Marshall or Huntington memories. Robbie and I went to Sonic once. There was a drive-in called Sonic that was new to me at the time. We went there once. Gosh, Robbie, I'm bound to do a future video, I promise, because I know that you're going to email me and say, Matt, don't you remember this? Don't you remember that? And I'm going to have to do another video. But at the moment, those come readily to my mind, the things I've named. I remember you would come over and visit Jack and Sue. Believe me, Robbie, Jack still repeats everything 3 times. There's still the repetition. He still smokes the smelly, stinky Doral cigarettes. Gosh. I can't even remember all the things that he does. Remember Jack talking about my men at Stone and Thomas, which is now, what is it now? Elder Bierman. He would talk about my men and I unloaded a truck today, or 2 trucks. But I thought I'd give you the Jack impersonation there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Folks, anyone watching this, I hope you enjoy it. Again, I'm proud of my shirt. I've got to show it again. And the shoes. I've got to show those one more time. Just once more. There they are. Aren't they adorable? The camera looks a little bit out of focus. There we go. Sorry folks, had to do it. I am going to go now. Robbie, let me know what you think of the video. I'll talk to you later, friend. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.